Ladies and gentlemen, Hex community of all ages, hey, Jake Freedom here, coming to you live from YouTube for yet another deck tech. And this particular deck we're going to be looking at, some of you may have seen it, some of you may have not have seen it, or maybe you've seen versions of this particular deck. It is a Wild Ruby Sapphire deck, and I like to call it Super Mill, just because the way I have it set up, and it could actually be a couple different ways. You know, it could just be, you know, burn it to the ground, or super mill, whatever you got, whatever you want, I guess I should say. So basically, the deck is focused around one card, maybe two. The deck is focused around this card here, Syzygy. And when I saw this card at first, I was like, yeah, maybe not so much. I didn't really like the card. But at that time, I didn't know some of the champions that were going to be out when I first reviewed this card here. And, you know, just kind of browsing through the collection, I saw this. I'm like, you know, I think you can maybe make something with that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the deck. Well, first of all, Syzygy is a one-cost, single Sapphire threshold, and basically, I always like to say basically for some reason. It's a content that says when you play an action, all cards with the same name in all zones get cost -1. So that is kind of the center of the actual deck. So let's go over what we actually have. 7 wild, 6 rubies, 11 sapphire. And now you may see the wild shards in the deck, but you see no wild cards in the deck. The wild shards are there for strictly for Winter Moon, so we can have Winter Moon so we can pull our cards back out. There might be another way you could do it. I could probably, you know, swap out those with, oh, which one is it here? I could probably swap them out with, you know, Shard of Instinct. So then I could, you know, always guarantee that, you know, maybe swap out 4 of those for a couple of Shards of Instinct. Either way, it doesn't matter. We just need to have that one wild threshold, no matter what. So what we have in the deck, we have 3 burns, 4 chronic madnesses, 3 arcane focuses, 4 syzygies, 3 rage fires, 2 schemes. Now, scheme, its card text reads, choose an action in your deck, create 4 cards with that card's name and put them into your deck. Now, currently, scheme is broken. Scheme is actually copying the card in its current state, and it's not supposed to. So let's just say you have Chronic Madness, you know, rolled up 3 or 4 different times, and it's, you know, milling for 8, 10, or 12. Scheme will actually copy that, and it won't reset that. So someday, hopefully, they'll fix Scheme. So right now, it's a little broken, but that's this is in here just to create copies of, like, Rage Fire and Chronic Madness only, just so you can keep pulling them back out. Next, we have Buccaneer for some control, because this deck is kind of slow to get going. If you can't get the deck going fairly quickly, you know, you could be in some trouble, and that's what Buccaneer is here for, along with Burn as well. And we have 4 counter magics just to, again, stall out our opponent until we can get rolling. Then we have a Archmage Renlock here, and basically is when you play an action, draw a card, because we're going to be playing a lot of action, so we want to keep drawing. And next we have Eldritch Dreamer socketed with the gem that will draw us a card when he does damage. He is unblockable. And then we have Bird of Plenty. Bird of Plenty is actually a pretty unique card in this particular deck. What you do with Bird of Plenty is, if your opponent doesn't destroy it somehow with a board wipe or something that destroys a troop, is you will point your Rage Fires at it to draw cards. Or your burns or anything like that, or block your opponent. So you intentionally take your Rage Fire, point at your Bird of Plenty, and draw the cards for the amount of damage that can happen, just to keep drawing the cards out that Scheme has targeted. You want to be able to do that after you have this out. So basically, your Rage Fires become free after playing them twice. Your Chronic Madnesses becomes free after playing it once. Your burns are free after playing it once. Arcane Focuses are free after playing them 1 time. So it's a pretty interesting deck. It does work, but like I said, it's slow to get going, but once you can get it going, once you can go off of the deck, it's actually pretty cool, and you can pretty much, your turn is never going to end, because all your cards end up being free. And like I said, the The champion that we're using here is Winter Moon, and Winter Moon is the champion that will obviously pull back cards into your hand. So for two charges, put up to 2 cards in your graveyard into your deck. Those cards give you play this draw card. So I titled it Super Mill. It could be an array of names. It doesn't really matter. That's just what I put on it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the reserves here. Now the reserves are something to be done with. You know, it's entirely up to you. What I have in here is Mastery of Time, 2 of those. I have 4 Heat Waves. Heat Waves are for those quick red decks, the quick ruby decks there. Just kind of take care of those. Got some Time Ripples. We have Crackling Bolt, and we have 3 Verdict of the Ancient Kings. Now those could certainly be changed around however you see fit. It's probably not the right sideboard for everything that's out there right now. What did I come up against in the ESL? Oh, what was it? It was a Ruby Wild deck using Eye of Creation, ramping into Eye of Creation, using Periwinkle, copying Eye of Creation, and pulling out troops. You know, so it's the next step down from Titania's Majesty deck. It's a pretty cool deck. So, you know, anything that is in this deck here would be able to counter that as long as you have it in your hand. And I think there's enough card draw built into it to be able to do that. The Spider deck, the Fento Spider deck, that one there's a little bit different story. You know, if you come up against it once, you know, you're going to see it. You're going to have your counter magics. You can counter that card. Time Ripples, you know, Buccaneers to just keep bouncing that card back. You won't be able to destroy Fento right away with Rage Fire, but you know, eventually you will be. So I mean, you'll be able to take care of that deck with this here without you really even had to sideboard anything out. Along with the Chronic Menaces, hope you can mill those out of there. So if you're not familiar with that Tarantula deck, it's pretty wicked. I'm sure there's an article on the internet somewhere about that deck. If you want to check it out, certainly do so. It'll mill you for everything you have on basically turn 5. So let's go ahead and play this deck once against the computer and see what we can do here. Let's just, do you want to save your changes? Sure. Didn't make any changes, but whatever. Alright, so we're going to play against the computer. Come on, get on over there. Proving Grounds it is. Play the computer. Let's see what we play against here. Super Mail, where are you at? There you are. Challenge. So I haven't tested a whole lot with this deck. It still needs some work. There are some things that it lacks in for sure, and you'll probably see them here depending on who we play. The biggest thing is it's kind of slow to get going, so we'll go ahead and keep that hand. I don't mind that one at all. And the first thing we'll do is we'll just go ahead and drop Chronic Madness onto our opponent and just get it rolling. The AI is not doing anything, so we'll go and do another Ruby resource here. We'll play Syzygy. Now, since everything revolves around Syzygy, you know, it's probably best if you can have it in your opening hand to be able to play it turn 1. But if not, you know, if you can hopefully draw into it quickly like I just did there, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world. You don't want to start playing all your excuse me, you don't want to start playing all your action cards and then get it out. So it just takes too much time to get them back into your deck. So now this time what we're going to do is we'll go ahead... we'll just go ahead and lay down another Ruby, and we'll just fire Rage Fire directly at our opponent's face. It immediately goes down to 1 casting cost. It's back in our deck. The escalation cards are obviously ones we will not have to get back with our champion power. The Glimmerglen Witch, not too worried about that. We are definitely coming up to be able to get this deck to work here. So now we have Scheme, and we're going to pull that into our hand, and we can't play it quite yet because we're not going to be able to play it till next turn, which is fine, and then we'll use our champ power to pull it back into our deck. And then before you know it, we'll be able to get Bird of Plenty out there and start pinging it with our own cards. Hopefully, that is the goal anyway. Honeycap drop is a 4/4, pretty standard when it comes to the AI. So let's fire Scheme and see, what do we want to copy. I think what we're going to copy is, I think we're going to copy Rage Fire the first time. So we'll do that. Its cost goes to 0, so now we'll go ahead and bring these 2 cards back into our deck. Alright, so we're going to take some damage here. We're going to take 6. Next time at least we'll be able to put down Bird of Plenty and start blocking some of this damage. We should hopefully be okay. So we'll go ahead and block. I'm sure he'll probably swing in with everything. We'll go ahead and we'll take another 6 damage and we'll block with the Honeycap. Hopefully we can draw something well. Draw something that we need anyway. Alright, so we're going to end the turn. Okay, so what do we have here? I have 7 resources to work with. I think we are pretty much ready to rock and roll. Double Syzygy is kind of cool, but we're pretty much at the point now where we don't need that. We could do Eldritch Dreamer, just get another troop out in the field to save us some. And we could take our Rage Fire. He's going to hit for 2. He should hit for more than that, I thought. Maybe not. So that'd be 1, that'd be 2. We could do 2, 2, and 2. So what we'll think we'll do here is just go ahead and hit him. Do we want to hit him? Yeah, we'll hit him. Then we'll take our burn and hit him. And might as well just use our resources as much as we can here. Pretty sure we only have a burn sitting there, so we can't do anything with that. So let's go ahead and pass priority back off to our opponent. He probably will not swing in this time, but he may. You never know. He is going to. Probably a normal human being wouldn't do that. So we're going to draw 5 more cards. All resources. Not really what I wanted to see, but that's okay. Not a huge deal. So let's just go ahead and just drop any resource we want. Let's just go ahead and fire off Chronic Madness. He is currently up to... I didn't see that. Let's take our Rage Fire. Rage Fire is up to 4. We could ping that troop off of there. Do we want to draw any more cards? We could. We're going to draw a card off of this card. We're not. So I think we're going to take the Rage Fire, hit the Glimmer Glen. And then we'll just pass priority off of that, and we'll use these 2 troops just to stop damage. They're both probably going to come in. Yes, they are. We're going to do this. So we'll draw 7. We'll take the Eldritch Dreamer. So 7 cards. Drop whatever we want to do there. So we'll fire off Chronic Madness. It's free. And then let's see what's Rage here going to do. He's going to deal 6. Let's go ahead and fire that at the squirrel. So he goes bye-bye. Let's take the Buccaneer. And let's go ahead and bounce him. And we might as well just go ahead and play this other Bird of Plenty, because we can. Use our Champ Power, pull these 2 cards back into our deck. pass the turn, and we have to get rid of one card. Still swinging in. Again, most people probably wouldn't do that by now. So we're going to draw a whole ton of cards here. Alright, so do we have a Chronic Madness in here somewhere? We do not, which is fine. Let's just get rid of one of these resources. And so now our Rage Fires are basically rolled here, so we can fire off these at our opponent for free. And he is dead. So, like I said, I call the deck Super Mill. That particular portion we didn't actually mill we milled our opponent. We actually just shot him down with the free Rage Fires there, targeting that with Scheme. So as you can see, I think the deck has potential. There's just a few things that it doesn't feel quite right yet. And you know, 2 mines are better than 1. You know, 4 better than 2, obviously. And this is just, you know, me putting it together after seeing portions of it from an opponent that I played there. So you guys can take the deck as you will, make some changes to it. Maybe you'll be able to come up with something a little bit better, maybe something that's a little quicker to go off with. Who knows? I'm not sure. So let me know what you think about the deck in the comments down below. Maybe some of the changes that you do, or maybe if you know if this particular deck is just no good, it's just too slow. Let me know that too. Like I said, I haven't played this deck in anything competitive at all, so I'm not sure how it does out there on the circuit. So other than that, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to let me know something again about the deck, leave it in the comments down below. And of course, if you want to see more of these videos, be sure to click subscribe down below, and we'll have another video for you soon.